resolve key issues around tariffs and tech restrictions. Let's bring in Bolvin Wealth Management Group President Gina Bolvin. Gina, how closely are you going to be watching these talks in London today?
Oh my God! Hi, good morning, Cheryl. It's huge, and but I'm wondering how much of this is already priced into the market. You know, we've come so far so fast. The S&P 500 is up about 23% since April 8 lows. So we think we've come a little too far, too fast in some of these trade negotiations. Positive news might be built in.
Okay, so you think that the market is already priced ahead of that, but you've also got CPI, PPI this week. You know, you've got domestic issues. We've got a Fed meeting next week, Gina. So, you know, there's a lot of things that are coming up for the markets to kind of analyze on top of what happens with trade. Let me give you the estimates for CPI. Monthly increase, 0.2%, 2.5% gain year over year. And then on the producer side, a 0.2 monthly increase, prices up 2.6% year over year. So, you know, with the inflation data, I mean, look, the economy, it's interesting because we got that jobs report, which was, the numbers were better than economists expected on Friday, and the markets took off. Do you think the inflation data is at risk of the rally at all?
So the inflation right now we're seeing, Cheryl, is at 5-year lows. And we do expect maybe a little bit of a tick up in inflation, but we're not going back to those high levels. I think what's so important to the markets right now is that the hard data is implying a soft landing in the economy. What's really important, what we saw about the jobs report, is the U.S. private payrolls is creating about 139,000 jobs. And that was much better than 125,000 expected, closer to the 144,000 that is the 12-month average. The unemployment rate stayed the same, but also, what I thought was interesting is that wages are still staying ahead of inflation. So if we do see a little bit of an uptick in inflation, we expect the consumer to weather this storm pretty well. You
know, Mike Lee, that's a point that I made with Maria on Friday when we were going through the jobs report, is that, you know, you had wages that were actually coming in better than expected. And what that could do, especially going into the summer months, that could be actually an economic boost because, look, gas prices are cheap right now. People have been kind of doing this wait and see thing with whether or not they're going to be spending money. That gave me a little bit of a hope that we actually may see a stronger economic story for this summer. Yeah,
look, it's this resilience. The economic resilience, especially from the consumer, is something to marvel at. It seems as though what's going on right now is we're just kind of along the same trend, and these doomsday predictions from tariffs and that this economy is going to fall off a cliff have proven to be totally and completely false, and we're kind of moving along as if this whole tariff tantrum never happened, and where the economy is not the stock market's not the economy. And we seem to be living that, and I am laser focused on AI because I just still don't think the market appreciates what's going to happen there, the size of it, the speed of it, and how much it's going to grow. And so those are the stocks I'm focused on. What about you, Gina?
Yeah, well, obviously, you know, I think what was so important coming out of this earnings season is that we saw this commitment, and also we even saw Meta double down on the AI spend. And so we still really like technology stocks, communication services, and we think that this trend is going to continue. We might see a little bit of a pullback in the market, but not only, Mike, you mentioned the consumer is resilient, it's been businesses too. Corporate America has been incredibly resilient, and we saw that in earnings season with strong margins. So I would expect a little bit of a slowdown. But again, it's the hard data, it's jobs, it's GDP. We're seeing incredible resilience and strength in the economy in the U.S.
Well, we'll see what the Fed's take on this is next week. Of course, President Trump would like to see a rate cut sooner rather than later. We'll see what Jay Powell does.
Not yet.
Not yet.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah. Well, throwing out that possibility. Anyway, Gina Bolvin, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we've got a lot more coming up this morning. We've got the